question is simple. Who is paying? Who is paying? Now, for those of you who are in darkness, your favorite activist, Mr. Boniface Mwangi, has come out today and launched his presidential bid. It was very colorful. It was very colorful, guys. But people are asking questions. People are asking important questions. Who is behind the presidential bid of Mr. Boniface Mwangi? Like, we all know that running a successful presidential bid or presidential campaign in this country is next to, I don't know, impossible. Like, you need immense resources. You need a lot of resources. You need a lot of money. Now, we all know that Boniface Mwangi one time tried to run for the member of parliament of Starehe constituency in Nairobi. And you all know what happened. Jaguar flattened him. It was basically Jaguar versus Boniface Mwangi. That was, I think, the first race that involved two very youthful MPs back then. Right now, wamekuwa wazee. So, we all know what happened. Now, Boniface Mwangi is back. And this time, he does not want to be an MP. He does not want to be an MCA, not even a senator, not even a governor. He's going to the top seat, the president of this country. And in his words, he's branding this campaign as love and courage. He says that, let me look for the exact word, that our country is broken and must be taken back into our own hands. Up to there, we agree, Boniface Mwangi, we agree. This country is in shambles, is absolutely in a worse situation than we'd actually want it to be. But let us not ignore the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is funding. Mr. Boniface Mwangi, if you'd care to spare us a few minutes and answer our questions as Kenyans, we are very concerned. Who or where do you imagine you'd get the funds to fund your campaign? Now, I know before you keyboard warriors can start communicating and saying, my God, where do you come from? Don't you believe that people can actually fund people's campaigns? That is something that we'd want to happen. That is a place where we are headed to and we'd like to get to as a people, where the humans, the citizens of a country actually fund the campaign of someone that they truly believe in the vision of. Someone that they believe in. Okay, if they believe in your vision, Kenyans should be able to fund your campaigns. But let us not forget that we are not yet there. That is why we ask the same questions when it comes to people like Maraga, people like Omtata, and Boniface Mwangi is not one that we should ignore, because, first of all, there has been a lot of allegations that have covered the life that Boniface Mwangi lives. We all know that he is an activist. If you go on social media, they'll tell you that Boniface Mwangi is a photojournalist who turned into an activist. He's a vocal critic of the government on corruption and human rights abuses. He's also deeply embedded in youth-led protests like the June 25th. Now, this Boniface Mwangi is a full-time activist. That's all we know. But concerns have been raised that, Mr. Boniface Mwangi, you are living above your pay grade. As an activist, you not only live in a very luxurious place, but also your children go to a very good school. So people have expressed their concerns on where it is that you must be getting the money to fund the lifestyle that you live. Now, of course, we do not know what you do at night. And that is something that all of us should, be very silent about. Don't always judge people on what they do during the day. Some people have night jobs, and those night jobs could be whatever they are. But we are only gonna speak on the day job, that is the activism. Some people have argued that they do not know how you can afford such a lifestyle on activism, which, if you think about it, activism is a free trade. What do I mean? It's a service that you offer for free without expecting any return. Now, you seem to have cracked the code on how to best monetize activism, because you do not tell me that you just go protest all day in town, and when you go back home, you find money on your doorstep. That is not exactly true. That is exactly something that we do not want to believe. So you obviously have figured a way of turning this activism into money. And sorry to say, but people have always thought that you are getting your funding from the Western countries, from people who have their own agendas in this country. Now, is that entirely false? No. That is basically the route that activism takes. All these people who engage in activism, they have a donor. And these donors, they only fund you because they have a certain agenda in your country. Some of them may have a genuine agenda. Like some of them may sincerely be fighting for human rights. Some of them may sincerely be fighting for what is this? Prevention of extrajudicial killings in a certain country. That is true. But we know that there are also another group of people who fund activists to destabilize a country. And we cannot really say that does not happen. We know that happens. So, Mr. Mwangi, you do then forgive our curiosity. You do forgive our doubt onto where you get your funding exactly, and especially with a presidential bid. Someone did an estimation that to run a successful campaign, presidential campaign in this very country, you need not less than 50 billion Kenya shillings. Jalango said that the figure is exactly 3 days. He said 1.5 billion would last you 3 days. I don't know. That was a bit of an exaggeration. But what we can all agree on is that it is not going to be easy to run a presidential campaign. So where are you getting your funding? But let us look at some things that Boniface Mwangi, you believe in, and some things that you have mentioned at the launch of your presidential bid. It is said that Boniface Mwangi has declared that his movement will refuse alliances with tribal elders and tainted politicians. The exact words were, "We can't get change working with people who are like hyenas." Mr. Boniface Mwangi, if you do not mind, would you mention these hyenas by name? Because I'm sure they are hyenas that you well know about. And this also brings us to a very interesting point. As a people, have we gotten to a point where we can comfortably say that we do not rely on tribal politics as a way of getting votes? Can we comfortably say that where we are as a people, we can mobilize based on ideas and not tribal backgrounds? I hope so, and I pray that we are there. But currently, are we really there? Are we really there? Something else that Mwangi said is that he boldly rejected traditional power brokers, insisting change must come from grassroots. I want to agree with Mwangi. That is the right approach. Whether it's going to work or not is something that we have to wait and see. Now, Mwangi has also acknowledged that he is not running alone. So, this to be exact in the words, is that Mwangi enters a race that is already crowded with heavyweight contenders. These heavyweight contenders who have already declared that they are running is Senator Okia Omtata, former Chief Justice David Maraga, and President William Ruto, who is seeking re-election. To be fair, the only reason we've only mentioned 3 is because those are the only ones who have come out and clearly said that they are going to be on the ballot. People like Gachagua, Kalonzo, Matiang'i, all these people are waiting something that is called consultations. And then they're going to decide who is going to be vying for president. Now, the street activist, Boniface Mwangi. The question is very simple. Can a street activist like Boniface Mwangi, with no tribal kingpins, with no political kingmakers behind him, let me add something, with no proper funding channels, as we know, can we trust that with a slogan like love and courage and a spirit, family too, because he has family behind him, can we really think that that is enough to win the presidency? That is something that we have to wait and see. But that question of the person behind Mr. Boniface Mwangi is a question that we need answers to. If it is us that you want us to contribute, Maraga was very clear. Maraga said he wants us to contribute and fund his campaign. If you want us to fund your campaign, ongea mapema so that tukwambie hatuna do ama tukwambie tuko na pesa. But it is a genuine concern, and if you could address it as soon as possible, we'd be happy. Not telling us to contribute, but if you already have a donor, tuambie ni nani. Tuambie what the interest of this donor is in our country. But I hope, just as it is said you've commercialized activism, we hope that you have not found a way to commercialize the presidency, because that has been the problem with our politics for the longest time, where people come into office and they can no longer work for people because they have debts to pay. Not debts in monetary value, but debts in terms of favors. We hope you are different, Mr. Mwangi, and we hope and pray all the best for you as you go on to try and be the 6th president of this country. All the best and goodbye.